And welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Clock. Today we have a special guest. I usually always say that because all of you are special. Today we have Emma Knox. She's the CEO of Discovery Vitality. She's agreed to come and just have a light chat with us on this Friday afternoon. Emma, thank you for coming. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. So what we usually do first, Emma, is allow our guests to introduce themselves. We don't really know how you would like to be portrayed to the internet on the first go, so we give that honor to you. So Emma, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity to be here. I was saying earlier, it's nice to have an interview that's just about you.
Yes, you don't have to prepare.
I don't have to prepare. The topic is me. But to introduce myself, so as you say, I'm Emma Knox. I'm the CEO of Vitality Health International Africa. That's Discovery's expansion into the rest of Africa. So many people in South Africa will know Discovery and health insurance and Vitality. My job is to take that health insurance and the Vitality behavioral change program to the rest of Africa. So we launched just over 2.5 years ago now, and we're now live in 7 countries.
7 countries.
Yeah.
Which are those countries?
So we are in Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, Zambia, and the DRC.
So which one was your most which was the most interesting to open up Vitality there?
Yeah, good question. You know, for me, I've worked in Africa with my previous company, GSK, for a number of years. So I've spent quite a bit of time in the different countries. But one I didn't cover and had never been to is the DRC. Okay. So launching this business in the DRC has been particularly interesting to me. I've never been to Kinshasa before, never understood the market. And yeah, it's a booming, bustling, really interesting place. And yeah, I've really enjoyed getting to know the market more.
Were there any things that made it more difficult than other locations?
I have the challenge of 3 languages in my territories. I've got Portuguese in Mozambique and French in the DRC, of which I speak very little of either.
Okay. It's slowly improving, probably.
It's slowly, yeah. I can order a meal, a glass of wine, and probably find the swimming pool, you know. But my business language is not good. So we've had to do that through local partners and through members of my team that are either Portuguese or Mozambican or from the DRC. And yeah, the DRC is at a very early stage of introducing health insurance. So very different than some of my markets like Kenya, who are quite established. So yeah, it's been a different experience, but an exciting one.
So the landscape in the DRC for health insurance is very shallow. They haven't touched on it. Are you guys the big fish in a small pond there? What's it like?
So it's at the very beginning. So health insurance, the legislation to enable health insurance only happened sort of 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. To open up that market. It also has some very interesting quirks that employers have to provide health insurance for their employees, and so it's mandatory. So that's kind of a different lens. And it's at the very beginning. So there's a lot of learning about the concept of health insurance. The penetration is very low. So we're at the beginning of that journey.
Is it something you have to convince the people of as well?
So my business at the moment only sells to corporates, so I don't have individuals. And the corporates have to provide some form of health insurance. So I create one of those options for them.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Great. I mean, you sound like very excited about the venture. I think that you're in. I think we met into 2017 briefly, or even 16. And I mean, you still have a very heavy British accent. Who's Emma Knox? Where are you from in Great Britain?
It's funny you mentioned the accent. So I often introduce myself and say I'm from the UK, and people always laugh to say, that's obvious. But I now have this.
Say no more.
But I now have a hybrid. So in South Africa, everyone thinks I sound very English. When I go to the UK and speak to my friends, they all tease me now for sounding very South African. So I've been here 12 years now, and they tease me for yarring and now and my kids call me brew and they've and hey man and there's lots of slang and those things that come up. So yeah, I think I'm now in language limbo. I sound a little bit wrong to everybody. But to your question, I grew up in the UK. I grew up in near a town called Cheltenham. It's a couple of hours west of London, very rural. I actually lived 7 miles or so from Cheltenham on a little horse farm. So yeah,
Wow.
that's where I grew up.
So what brought you to Africa?
Yeah, there are many things. The probably most important is my husband. My husband and I met in the UK. He's from the Eastern Cape. He was working there, in his 20s when we met. And we spent about 10 years, or he spent 10 years in the UK. We spent a number of years there together.
Okay.
And then he persuaded me to take the leap.
Okay. So, I mean, talking about your husband, how did you meet him?
Yeah, we were...
just, let us in.
Let you in. So we met in 2006. So in our kind of mid-20s. And we met in a bar on a Tuesday night. He was with... I was with one of my very close friends from school, and he was with a group of friends that she was friends with. So the classic story.
Just kept on staring at you.
Yeah, offered me a tequila. I said
winking,
yes.
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Oh, okay. You don't want to tell if you want the tequila.
We'll stop after the tequila.
All right. Cool. I guess you're married now with kids, right? How many?
I've got 3 kids. Yeah, my eldest is James. He's 10.
Okay.
Then Charlie, who's 9. And Sophia is just turned 7.
Oh, okay. Got 2 boys and a girl.
2 boys and a girl. Yeah. All very quite close together. So yeah, they're a little team. I chatted to them actually about coming on the podcast. I was telling them what I was coming off to do. So they said, you can tell stories about us, but only good ones. So I'll have to edit my stories.
Okay. And where do they go to school?
They're at Red Hill.
All of them?
All of them,
It's a good school, right?
No. Were you at Red Hill?
I was at Red Hill.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I matriculated in 2014.
Ah, okay,
So, yeah.
okay.
I'm sure it's a lot better now, or it looks a lot better.
Yeah, no, they're doing a lot of investment.
They put a lot
amazing.
of money in the school, but it's very expensive for me.
Yeah. Yes. No, it's a great school. And it's nice, it's co-ed, so my boys and girls can go there together.
Yeah, I mean, talking about that, he was at a boys' only school before he went there, which is like a very different vibe, and so it's good to go to a mixed school.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that going to all boys school is bad. It's a different experience, and if you have the chance as a person, like your parents are able to do that for you to try it out, why not?
Which did you prefer?
I was at a co-ed school before I went to all boys school, so it's like I think the co-ed, yeah, but the all boys school it just teaches you something else. Like
Something else?
Yeah, it teaches you something else because when you separate the genders, right? You put boys all together, and boys, everything is just very hierarchical, and it's like alpha male, which are either the matrics or the grade 7s at the top, and then the rest of you need to fall in line unless you're in grade 6 or 11. Otherwise, you don't give a damn about what the guys older than you say. But yeah, it just teaches you a lot of things, like the camaraderie all boys school has is next level. Like, I would say that feeling it gives you of like either the rugby days or sports days, or you go because I played rugby, played cricket, played football, played hockey, did all these things. So like the way they take their sports so seriously, and like especially if you're playing in one of them, and then like the whole school on a Saturday's there to back your team and everything, it's a nice feeling. It's cool. Whereas co-ed school, it's not like that. It's not really like that. They don't have the same type of we take this seriously here mentality. So yeah, I'll just say boys' schools are just very hierarchical and maybe tribal in some sense. So yeah, but also I've heard girls say that they experiences with all girls schools are very good, but also I've also heard the opposite, so I can't really speak on the all girls school thing.
I'm sure your sister can.
Yeah, but that's also going to be one perspective of it as well.
True.
So just I mean, following up on the more work and serious stuff. I mean, it looks like you and I know how rough and rumble Africa can be, and I'm sure that stuff is very taxing and very stressful. What is your sleep like? I mean, on a normal day, a mother of 3 kids, 2 rowdy boys. I'm sure they kind of are full of energy. How many hours of sleep do you do on a normal day?
Good question. So I need my sleep. So some people can operate on, very little sleep. I'm not good on low sleep. I can do it for a couple of days, but after a while, it doesn't work well for me. I need 8 hours sleep to feel great.
Every day?
Yeah, most days. So the problem is with young kids, they wake up very early.
Yeah.
So, my house is moving. I'd like to say 6, but realistically 5:30. There's some movement, and 6 we're up and having breakfast. So that means I have a very uncool and early bedtime. Yeah. So but I do need my sleep, and I have to prioritize going to bed early. There's no lie-in the other side. The weekends as well. There's also up at 5:30 and 6. So the only lie-in I get is before midnight.
Any stress on the travels on the road? I mean, Africa can, and the countries that you mentioned I've been to, and I mean, I know that sometimes things can really go wrong where you don't have immediate solutions to solve those problems.
Correct.
Any experiences there to share?
Yeah, I think everyone who travels across Africa has got an arm long of stories. What am I? I mean, everyone's got the travel, flights, those kind of issues that happen. What am I? I mean, my stories are more like trying to add on some adventure. So, I think the thing I like the least is if you go to a country and
like the food, local food.
But if you just go to a country and you go into a hotel, you have a meeting, you come back to the airport and you come home, that's my worst, because it's just so sterile. For me, the best stories and the best are when you can add on some adventure. So I was saying I hadn't been to the DRC before. When I went to Kinshasa first, we found that we happened to be there over a public holiday. So we had one of the days where we couldn't do too much.
You're off.
So yeah, we're off. So we found someone who had a boat who could take us down the Congo river, which was awesome. So we had a chance to go. Went down the river. We even ended up swimming in the Congo, which is probably not the cleverest plan, but we survived. And when I go to Kenya, I like to find cool places to go run. Karura Forest. Can you get out? And Nigeria. Went last time I was there trying different street food. Also sometimes not wise. But for me, there's no point going to a country if you're just going to keep in a sterile building. You want to go and feel a bit of the culture, the adventure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually, I never said this before, especially here. This is the first time I say this in public. I'm just finishing a book. I'm writing a book on a blueprint on how to win in Africa based on my experience and stories that I encountered on the road, and it's exactly that each country, each experience, I've lived it as if it's like yesterday. I remember my first trip to Uganda. Went with I was still at BD that time. I went with a British colleague of mine, Nick Bright. And I remember I was just learning Kiswahili and the language, and they were saying, "Oh, there's a Muzungu," and it's like Muzungu is like a white face,
person, yeah.
White person's like, okay, I'm with Muzungu. I like studying to learn the language and all that, and also going to Ghana, trying to learn the language. I mean, understanding which one is like a more dominant language, Twi, the language, and it's just getting along. It's like you feel so rich and so empowered and different in the stuff that you learn, not at school but on the road. That it's unique, you know. So if you allow me to speak about Africa, I'm very passionate, and I'll talk 1 hour nonstop.
Yeah, lots of stories, but it's fun. It's tough doing business in Africa, but it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and also, and I'm glad that you're immersing yourself into this and learning, and again talking about Uganda, seeing how they make this matoke. You know, they take the banana and make porridge and put meat on it, and that's like, or plantain towards DRC, West Africa, looks like a banana dried up and all that. But learning about the banana species in Uganda, like they got like 13, 14 types of bananas, like small ones, big ones, which is it's very, very interesting information. But then again, those places are very disease kind of prone places, you know, with Ebola and other diseases. I think they're just interesting.
Yeah.
Any favorite city on the continent?
Favorite city?
And Cape Town's off the arc.
No. When I travel, I mean, I enjoy Maputo. I love prawns. I've been spending quite a bit of time in Mozambique. So that's a good one. I always like going to Maputo. Nairobi's always fun.
Beautiful.
It's a good vibe. I say Kinshasa was eye-opening. The bustle and the hustle and the number of people was
Lagos?
incredible. Lagos, it's always a challenge. The traffic is a challenge. But I love once you're there, to get out, say, try different foods, the people, the vibrancy is amazing.
The spicy meat and all that.
It's awesome.
Like hot.
Yeah, just the worst for me is the couple of hours stuck in traffic.
Yeah. When last were you there, Lagos? Your last trip?
Last year, end of last year.
They're still building the airport?
I think they're always still building the airport. Always still building. But it actually was a lot quieter traffic-wise because of the fuel issues.
Shortage.
Yeah. But
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's like solution to the problem.
Yeah, probably not the
Slow down,
ideal,
everybody.
not the ideal solution to the problem. But
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's
So how, taking this back to the family, how do you choose to spend time? We'll start with your sons or your children. How do you choose to spend time with your children? Do you group it up and say, okay, I'm getting it all out the way with them all in a group, or do you spend time with them individually? Because obviously they're all different. They're their own people. They have probably different likes and dislikes and all those things. So yeah.
No, absolutely. So it's obviously a mixture. I try very hard to be very intentional about the balance between work and family. I've obviously got three young kids. So I try and I do my meetings, sort of 8 till 3. And then in the afternoon, sort of 3 till 7, I try and be there for the kids. Obviously, it doesn't always work. But when I can, it does. And that's, whether that's watching them do their ballet or their soccer or doing homework and having dinner together. So that's kind of us all together. But I often try to do like a individual treat for each of them, because I think anyone who has more than one child realizes when you get one of them on their own, it's just a different experience.
just bombing them with love and attention.
Yeah, and just that, especially when you've got 3, they're always vying for something, or, there's lots of hustle between the 3 of them. Just one-on-one is nice. My eldest, James, he loves art, very into art.
James.
Yeah, so he and I have got into going to art galleries sometimes at the weekend, just an hour, pop off, the 2 of us. Sometimes we have a little lunch afterwards. Just that's some quality mum and boy time. My middle one, Charlie, he's a big reader, so I like going to a bookshop. He loves going to buy a book, grab an ice cream afterwards, go for a walk even, those things are nice. He loves cycling too. Yeah, my daughter, she loves everything girly. So, singing Taylor Swift in the car is just an experience. She is A big Swiftie. We had to get a fringe cut the other day, just to be like Taylor Swift. Wow. I'm also a bit of a Swiftie, so I don't mind.
Why didn't you
I've not got
the
the fringe yet. Yeah, it's coming. But also just even if it's just to go out for tea or go for a walk. Or she's into horse riding. I grew up with horses. We do horse riding together, me and my daughter. So yeah, I think quality time one-on-one is invaluable. But spending time as a family, like we try and have dinner each day together, is also great.
If you're not traveling.
If I'm not traveling, yeah, this all has to be squeezed in between, traveling and obviously work doesn't always accommodate my plans. But I think it's always good to have a plan that you try and stick to, and then life happens.
And personalities of your kids, are they more Emma or their father, or how are they?
They're so different. I think when you before you have kids, maybe you think a lot of it is nurture. There's a huge amount of nature. My eldest, James, we always laugh, he's like a clone of my husband. So he's very Anthony, much more, calmer, more considered, more introverted. His room's very tidy, things are planned and organized. Charlie is me. He's a bit wild. He's a little bit, he's very charismatic and engaging, but Charlie's a handful. A lot of fun, but doesn't. James will understand the rules. Charlie will understand the rules to break them. And Sophia is all things girly. I'm not a very girly girl, so I don't know where this comes from, but she is deep princess, ballet and dresses and
Maybe it's just the face.
Maybe it's just she's just turned 7, so
yeah,
she's in deep princess phase. But my parents told me at that age I refused to wear a dress or be girly, so I was very different. But yeah, they're very different people from each other, which is great. Makes
your parents are also probably saying the same thing. It's like, I don't know where she
gets this from. Exactly.
Yeah, maybe from the father's side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've said that to my husband. If he was a girl, maybe that's what he would be. Princess and sparkles.
And just maybe one more. The boys, are they very protective of her? Or it's everybody for themselves?
They're actually, where they're good is they will hustle and fight with each other. Less so with her, but I don't think they're protective yet. No, I think hopefully that'll come in time. But for now, no. But she's going to have lots of protection as she becomes a teenager, hopefully.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And then your husband, when does he come into the picture?
The equation.
Yeah.
He also has a busy job. He has he's a banker, works for Bank of America Merrill Lynch. So has long hours. He also travels quite a bit. So we have a solid juggle between us. We have a big planner in our study, which is like Emma away, Anthony away, Emma away. So we have to juggle that between us. But yeah, we make it work.
Okay. I guess he also, just spend more time with them when he's around in the same way. Do you take the kids to school yourself, or you got a special bus that arrives every day at 6:30?
I'm the bus. No, so luckily school's quite close to us. So
just around the corner.
Just around the corner. So
I remember when he went to Red Hill. We had a place in Morningside. We're still living in the East End, but I think thanks to him for forcing the whole family to move. My wife was always thinking the East End was fine. When the sister went to university, he went to apply without telling us. And then they said, I think you need to come for interview, but you bring the parents. And he was like, who's coming with me for the interview? And
his mom.
And then the rest was history. But what I was saying is, I was working at the Woodlands, and in Morningside was 5 minutes to school, 5 minutes to work, and I was kind of forced to be the first one at the office every day. So
it's exactly my life. So we're very close to school. So I'm the The school, you need to be there at 7:30. So we leave home at 7:15. We drop the kids at kind of 7:20, and then I'm in the office by about 7:30. But it's great. My husband and I often say, where else in the world can you have that? And his office is right by my office. So we have this amazing opportunity to both have our jobs, have the school, have our house, and you don't waste too much time on the commuting and the other aspects of life. So we're very lucky.
Yeah, funny you're saying that, because in the middle of his schooling, we decided we left Morningside to go live in the leafy Bryanston, and then the traffic in the morning to school is drama.
Yeah,
it's like, it's always felt like, when do I finish this? Because I traveled so much, and it was my job to take him to school when I was around. And I'll take the kids to school when I was around, and then the mom will fetch them in the afternoon. And but I was always telling him, like, I can't wait for this to end, and I buy that cabriolet, wait for the sun to come out, put the shades and put the roof down, go to work.
Those dreams.
I'm still waiting for that.
Those dreams. No, I think I feel very grateful not to spend lots of time in traffic.
Yeah.
It makes it work.
Okay, so how was the transition from being in the UK to moving to South Africa? I'm sure, it shouldn't have been that big, but it was still a big change, right?
Yeah, I think I was always keen for more adventure. So I was in the UK, but I worked for GSK, amazingly for 18 years. I started with them in 2004, and I had the opportunity to work in the UK, in Europe, in Asia. I spent a bit of time in China, LATAM. So I used to always say, like, what people say, where do you want to go and what's the best holiday? And like, for me, it was a new country. I just loved going somewhere new and different, and just experiencing that. So I always wanted to experience more different cultures and countries. And then when Anthony and I were in the UK, before we moved to South Africa, we were just looking for another adventure. It could have been Singapore, it could have been anywhere. We were looking at a list of different places. But then this opportunity for me came up in South Africa with GSK to look after the SADC region. And we said, actually, if I get it, let's take it as a sign and let's go. So I got the role, and he was actually working for BNP Paribas then, so he resigned from his job. And we got on a plane and came to South Africa. It was going to be the first adventure before the next one, but 12 years later we're still here. We got married, we had kids, and
You got married here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Married,
So
yeah.
where, in Joburg or Eastern Cape?
Eastern Cape, on my husband's parents' farm.
What, the PE side or East London?
It's like Bedford, Adelaide. So
Okay.
a couple of hours.
In between.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. What's interesting. So all your kids are born here.
All the kids are born
and
here.
At least they didn't have to do the adventure that the parents wanted to do, go to different countries and get confused about languages and culture and the food and all that.
Exactly. That's still to come. Yeah.
You still thinking about that?
No, I think we're here. We're here for the foreseeable future. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes to get a place where you settle, I think in life.
And life is good.
In terms of food and how maybe let me start about how at work they perceive you. Emma, the CEO now, who's together, always everything is like streamlined. How's that perception like? They see you for who you are, or they think you're a robot, AI, something else, or how close are they to that reality?
To the real me?
Yeah.
I think very close. I think that's something over my career I've come to understand and realize how important it is. Sometimes in your early career, you think you have to be something you're not for people to respect you. You aspire to this kind of robot, I've got everything together persona. And you realize that actually that's not what most people find affinity to or aspire to or engage with. And and also it's very stressful and exhausting trying to be someone that's not you. So I am very me at work. My team very much know that I'm, off to my daughter's ballet, and they'll be back, and they know my life. We go, out after work and, and chat and have coffees, and they're very. I think the me that is me is very transparent.
But I mean, you must admit that half of that is you being you. The other half is people just perceiving you, because I've lived through this life where I didn't know people just fear me because of my position, and feeling that it feels like they're going into a principal's office when they come to me, and they're like really, tense. And I've tried a lot to kind of ease them down, and also just to make them understand that I'm a regular guy. I guess you have to work harder to demystify yourself, because they look at you, red dress, everything together, and they think, you go home every day to eat very good food, Norwegian salmon with some vegetables around it, and caviar. And then when you're done, you go sit in the jacuzzi and drink rosé wine and go to sleep.
Yeah, it's exactly my evenings. No, and actually my home is, I come home and I put on my tracksuit bottoms and my t-shirt. That's when my kids know that, the line between work and home.
Transition.
It's the transition. Right? And then you're having, dinner with your kids, bath time, reading books in bed, and then, a bit of work and then sleep. My evenings are not very exciting. No caviar and rosé in the jacuzzi, sadly.
You heard it here first.
But no, you make a good point in the fact, there's how you think you're perceived and how people actually perceive you. And I think as you get more senior, you have to work harder at making sure people feel comfortable. To challenge you and to present their ideas and to feel comfortable. And I think that's something I am aware of, and I try hard to create an environment where people can be open, comfortable being who they are, and, speak up.
So, I mean, we spoke off record about, Discovery being a big business with many CEOs running many businesses within a bigger business. And Adrian Gore is the main boss. And I'm sure you can watch that from far and see in that building how people react to Adrian walking in, and see how unreal it can be. Just the way he impact on people because of him just being the big boss. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know it's a very incredible, kind, nice man, but I don't think people see that. They see, the big boss.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian's still very involved in everything in Discovery, so I think he has a huge amount of respect. I think from the whole organization, but he's very humble, very open, very engaging as a person. Yeah,
but I'm sure people still shake and get scared, like take the short left, and they see him go to the other side.
Maybe, I hope not.
Maybe you haven't seen that first time. Go, cats.
So what was it like? I mean, getting this job and you're obviously from another country. You're also female. Mm-hmm. Getting this job, what was it like when it's like stepping into this big role? It's like, I'm a woman. It's like, do I have to prove myself? What was like, how did you talk yourself through this whole transition of being in this job? Like the expectations and all that is like, you're also a woman in this corporate life and all that. So it's like, you probably have to work even harder to prove yourself and all those things. What was that process and transition like for you?
Yeah, I think I've been lucky in my career that I've never felt, or nobody's ever made me feel inferior by being woman or being female. I know that's not the journey of everybody, and I'm a big advocate of encouraging women and helping that transition for more women to have corporate jobs. But it doesn't sit in my mind solidly that I'm a female CEO.
Female CEO.
I don't think I've never been made to feel that that's an issue.
It's more normalized for you.
Yeah, I think so. And it can be intimidating being in a room, and you realize you are the only female in the room. And that happens. But I think I quickly manage myself that it's not a thing.
Do you realize, like, let's say you're the only female in the room, like, do you have like ever realized like what type of impact you bring in as the only female in the room to like those types of discussions and meetings and all those things? Not that like you have to speak for all women in the world or anything, but I'm just saying because
I might bring a bit more color
because everyone's wearing black suits.
But no, I think once you're in the room because you're capable to be in that room.
Yes.
And then the discussion is not about whether you're male or female or your race or gender. It's about the topic.
All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Another question I wanted to ask was, since you're from the UK, do you have a designated football team that you guys have to, or where you're from you support, or is it just you're not a follower of the sport?
It's a good question. So I'm not a follower.
Yes.
But my boys are passionate about football. They play soccer themselves a lot. But I think probably one of the problems is because I don't have an anchor team. They've been a bit fickle with their team allegiance.
Oh, so they don't have a proper allegiance.
Yeah, they were originally Chelsea fans. I think they knew someone who was a Chelsea fan. And then I don't think Chelsea were doing so well. So this is probably when they were like 5 or 6. I think they're now Arsenal fans, but I think it's a little flaky. It's a little flaky.
So they're not going to stick to Arsenal.
No, possibly not.
What makes it flaky, Emma?
I think I suppose neither my husband and I support a team.
Oh, okay.
So they don't have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they don't have either of us pushing a particular team, but they love watching football.
I wish they stay with us now. It's a good team.
Okay. Am I detecting an Arsenal fan?
I am Arsenal fan.
Okay. I'll let them know.
So do you plan on taking them to watch a game one day?
You know what? We'd love to do that. We took them to the UK, I think it was last August, one before. And we'd actually booked a game because we thought actually it'd be so awesome to take them to a real game. Mm-hmm. And then they changed the fixture after when we flew back. So we have a deep hole in that experience. But no, my boys would love that.
Any team or just...
Yeah, I mean, obviously currently Arsenal. Currently Arsenal.
Probably a home game, London, easy, right?
Yeah. So
like cherry on top if they win as well.
They always
because the caveat of going to watch a game, like you're so excited, but then it's like your team needs to win for the experience to be complete.
No,
because
not really.
then it's an overall good experience.
Not really. I mean, if you go through the proper fanfare around it, maybe even pass on the original club shop, get a bit of shirts or regalia, mugs. Kids like stuff they put in their rooms, and they leave that. By the time they win or lose, they enjoy the experience. It's like.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's the cherry on top.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it would be ideal.
Yeah, it's ideal. You don't go there just to watch your team lose.
Yeah. You have to tell the match officials to make sure that the teams play well.
Yeah. So that's still in the list of things to do. We haven't got there yet. My daughter will be less keen. She spends her whole life watching her brothers play rugby or cricket or soccer. So she says, "Oh my God, not another weekend watching sport."
That's my sister.
Yeah, and please don't make it cricket because it goes on for so long. So she won't be coming to the game.
I hope they watch her when she's doing the ballet and all that, because that's a very special age where they that dance.
I know, it's so cute. Now I do force them to come along, but they equally moan and groan.
Dragging them in.
Yeah.
So the food. Favorite cuisine? Do you cook yourself? How often?
Yeah. So, favorite types of food. I love seafood. So I mentioned my Maputo prawns earlier.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So I'm
Get
a
them
big
from the ocean into the plate.
exactly. I'm a big seafood fan. So if I go out for a restaurant, if it's an option, I'll probably end up with something seafood. Also because it's not the kind of thing that I cook at home.
Where do you cook it on?
In terms of cooking, I think like most mums, like the everyday cooking is not fun. um, the producing of food for each day, but I enjoy cooking for like an occasion, so which happens very rarely. So I'm talking like a few times a year when you've got a dinner party or something, and you can do we get beautiful lamb from my husband's parents' farm. So doing like a shoulder of lamb, roast lamb, is a go-to in our house. Yeah, or lamb chops on the braai. Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Klutz?
I think, well, something we haven't asked you is how do you and your husband actually spend time together outside of the kids, just one-on-one time? I know you're very busy, so it must be hard to be able to fit in such time together as well.
And let me give that question some context because we've interviewed a lot of people. Some of them are like maybe me, going to face an empty nest, and sometimes we spend a lot of time just focusing on the kids, especially they just make you so busy and tired and all that, and don't get a lot of kind of weekends free without them, and especially you still like you met halfway, right? It's maybe most families in the Eastern Cape, your family's mainly in the UK, and you can't just ship them to the grandma or this, and I guess just giving that question a context.
Yeah, no, it's really we talk about it quite a bit because we are busy and both have jobs and the kids, and it's easy that your world can just become about the admin. What's happening here, what's at the weekend. The kids, the conversation becomes all about the kids, so you have to create space that is still just you two and fun. And for me, that's really, really important. So we do try and prioritize like going away, just the two of us, having time just together, doing fun stuff that reminds you that you are alive and fun, not just a mum or a dad. And yeah, for us that's very important. So we create a bit of time for that. Also weekends, we try and keep weekends quite family focused. Like it's a bit of a ritual at the weekend that we do brunch and kind of dinner, like a early braai with the kids. Dinner, lunch and dinner combined. And so we almost always have a braai together, and it's a nice time as a family. So we spend time there. But yeah, try and do fun stuff together. Go away together. Go do fun things that remind you that you're two people and you have fun together, not just a mum and a dad.
Yeah. Always reminding the kids that you met before them.
Yeah, exactly. That's always we always say that. That's it.
You had a life before
we were here before you.
Yeah.
We chose each other. We didn't choose you. You just came.
Yeah. So I mean, just in trying to wrap up, we normally give our guests some time to also revenge, ask us some questions as well, because sometimes we got a lot of feedback that you didn't give us chance to ask you guys some questions. So maybe I don't know if you have a final question before we give Emma a moment of revenge.
Final question would be, where do you want to go to next? You said you're very big on traveling new places. So what's your dream destination that you haven't been to?
The bucket list.
Yeah, where's on the bucket list? We talk about this a lot. And there's probably a couple of holidays that I've planned and not gone on. So they sit in my mind, like for life happened and I couldn't make them. So one is Central America to Belize. Both my husband like to dive. We have the Lonely Planet. We had planned the trip. There's the Blue Hole there. You can go diving. So we haven't done that. So that's kind of in my mind, like Belize, Nicaragua. I'd love to spend some time there, but you need more than a week. It's not a week's holiday, and it's not a holiday probably with little kids. I plan to go to Vietnam. And that also on an occasion for a holiday that didn't happen. So again, I've got the Lonely Planet, I've got the trip planned, but I never made it. So those are two like regions or countries that I haven't been to that I would like to. I've also not been to Japan. So yeah, there's a little list.
So it's 3.
There's the regions and countries.
In that order, or which one comes first for you?
I want to go to Central America. That's my number one. But I need like 3 months to do it. I think I want to go there properly, explore with a backpack.
Oh wow, you need to take like all your leave for like the next 2 years to just do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost impossible with the kids' age right now.
Exactly. No, that's why it's a dream. Yeah. I wasn't answering a realistic question. These are dreams.
Yeah, and incidentally, I mean, funny, Taz's sister, when she took her first holiday without us, just her and the friend, they said they were going to Vietnam. You can imagine the panic from parents. Like that, I think some sort of a 24-hour flight, KQ, that way, exchange and back, but they made it. Yeah. Came there for, I think, a week and a half, the mountains, and just lived through that. So I like travel because it's just you learn so much and see that life is the same everywhere. It's just how it's been approached and all that.
Agreed.
So your moment.
Okay, some revenge. Maybe a question to you. So your kids are grown up. You probably have to cast your mind back to having 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds in the house. Any words of wisdom? Anything you would have done differently?
I mean, I think what
7-year-olds.
What I did was just like anybody else. Life is something else that when you're young and kind of growing a young family, you're so busy as well trying to grow your career. I mean, I remember I was traveling so much, and that's the only thing that he remembers. And sometimes he used to use it as reverse psychology. Dad, since you travel so much, why don't you buy me this big toy? Because you're not here most of the time.
It's like how smart.
So I mean, and I think you're doing it. So one thing that I agreed with my wife was because I travel so much, if I'm not traveling, I'm taking the kids to school, to sports. I tried car racing thing, didn't work when small. With Matthew, your friend.
Oh, yeah. This is long ago.
Yeah, so I remember everything. Yeah. So,
a proper 7-year-old.
Yeah. So and we'll maybe watch a movie or something together. And that time, I mean, just the time of our lives that I think just a warning to you, it passed so fast for me. And I remember this time, every time I come to home, my kids will be so happy for me. I was like, Daddy, that's like, I wanted to go home every time because like, that's where I get so much love. And then some evenings, that time they were like, we're watching the WW SmackDown. Like Wednesday, I think was I have to be home on time for that. It's like the Undertaker and John Cena. Can you see me? You can't see me. And George Guerrero, the guy who died, I think suddenly he was one of the wrestlers.
Eddie Guerrero.
Booker T, and some
you
of the
remember
legends.
all these
I
guys,
remember all that. That's probably, if I look back, that was the time that I was most happy with my kind of teen or young kids, just talking to them, asking them about what do you want to be when you grow up. And the answer to that question was changing all the time, like depending where they are mentally. The next year, it will be something else. So for you, I think, I mean, it's a good advice is to enjoy the moment, because before you know, you'll be WhatsApping your kids at a university or some other places and all that.
And it's amazing how you can't envisage that when they're just little. It's hard
Yeah.
to visualize the future.
It just passes so fast, and even the difficult times. I remember he was playing every sport at school. Like he got injured playing basketball. I think what's the school?
Red Hill did.
Red Hill was playing Bryanston. I think you're playing Bryanston or in Bryanston, and they got tackled going for the ball up, and then torn all his ligaments. Gone, boom, finish.
No, just in the knee. It was a knee injury.
Yeah, and was big. When I looked at the X-rays and all that, the teacher called me. I was busy chairing a meeting, which was really tough. I said, "Give me 10 minutes." 10 minutes became 15 minutes, and then he just sent me a picture with him. I think E24 putting him on a stretcher. And
it was dramatic for no reason.
Yeah.
But when I got to the hospital, Mom was there already. So I was like,
I just don't want to pass those moments. It just stayed with me. I was not able to go talk to the doctor. The doctor referred him to his brother, who's a doctor in Sunny Hill, and I had to go understand why.
Yeah.
So those moments go past like that. They're like, before you know.
And teenage years, were they troublesome? I was a terrible teenager. I'm terrified about my kids' teenage years in case they're anything like me.
No, actually. I mean, I think we've been very strict, I think, as parents. I'm being the calm one and playing the good cop, bad cop.
Okay.
And
was never
they kind of...
I'll ask you the same question in a minute.
they kind of understood that, certain things are not allowed, no-go area. And with my daughter, a lot of people told me that it's going to get worse, It never got worse because, like, I had a different relationship with my son, my daughter. They're all good relationships, but because they have a, slightly... I think my daughter is more introverted. My son is more extroverted, like say it, I'm not happy, so I kind of spend time individually with them, relating to, catering those personalities that way. But I waited for the bust out of the bad teenage years, which never came. I mean, I expected worse with my daughter. It's just, it's been amazing even today.
Oh, I hope I have the same story. I'll come for tips. Yeah. Was he really the good cop?
I mean, when you're in trouble, there's no such thing as a good cop. Like, they're going to arrest you either way, right? So, there's no such thing.
Ugly, like you've been to jail.
No. But I'm just, like, you guys understand now what I'm saying. There's no such thing as a good cop. All he's going to do is talk to you. It's like me shouting at you that you're going to go to jail, and then me saying, "No, love, you're going to jail." Like, there's no... there's no solace.
Your mum shouted more, but they said the same things.
My mom... it was a lot. It was a lot, but also it's like, your dad's coming home, he's gonna hear about this, and it's like, cool. You've already shouted at me. What's he gonna do?
What more can happen?
He's not gonna shout at me because, one, he's coming back from work. He's tired.
He's done shouting at people.
Tired. No, he's not even shouting. He's not even the type to shout. It's just like, I know when my dad doesn't shout.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only time he shouted was like when we were kids, and that's when it's like, be quiet. I'm trying to say something. Otherwise, my dad's not the type to shout. My mom, on the other hand, like, I don't know what it is. I don't have my mom's lungs. My mom can shout.
I love it.
My mom can shout. So it's like when my mom raises her voice, it's like everyone listens.
Trembles.
Like, even, and it's I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but like, before my sister moved out of the house, right? Our bedrooms are literally like, my room's here, her room's there, little bit of space, but like, we're literally neighbors. My sister would do this thing of her just coming into my room and then just chilling and then going onto Instagram on my bed. And that's a very calm way of her coming into my room. She'd open the door, then run up and jump on my bed. And I'm like there on my TV and I'm playing PlayStation. I'm like, what's happening here? But to bring it back all around, it's like, any slight, we're so very sensitive to our mother's, the tone that our mother uses. So me and my sister can be upstairs in my room just talking, and then we'll hear my mom say one thing from up there. And my mom, like, when I say my mom can, like, she has good lungs. She knows how to project her voice. So if my mom is just complaining about something that's not related to anyone, and she's just having a normal conversation with my dad, me and my sister be like, why is mom shouting?
You get the fear,
There's
even though you're a while.
Like a little bit of PTSD. It's like, what's happening? Because in the past it was like we were in trouble when mom raised that voice.
So you're just wondering who's in trouble down there.
Yeah. So it's like, that's why I was like, my dad, no, doesn't. It's just a more of a serious conversation of he's just talking to you and you know you're in trouble, and it's like you just have to deal with it. With my mom, it's just like, okay, shout at me then. Let's get this over with. It's like, just shout at me.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the difference between them. There is no good cop or bad cop. They're both bad cops.
It's just loud cop and quiet cop.
Exactly.
Any parting shots?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you very much. It's been a great opportunity. It's really nice to chat with you and get to know you both more.
So, I mean, thank you very much for really taking the time and sharing your story. And especially the, almost from the farm with horses to marriage in the Eastern Cape to many jobs and travel in Africa and the kids, which is like a rich life, which maybe in 20 years you'll look back, you realize it's gone so fast. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for sharing your story. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.